Hello everyone, dear friends, welcome to my channel Venki History Hub. For the latest updates, please subscribe my channel and press on the bell icon so that you will get a regular notification regarding my classes. So, dear friends, I am going to discuss with you the history of Satavahanas. So, Satavahanas is one of the important chapter in Indian history. So we also study this history from the regional point of view, like the states Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, and Telangana. These five states, they trace their descendancy, means they trace their regional history from Satavahanas. So it's also very important as a regional history. So without further delay, let's begin with the discussion. So be attentive. So it's going to be very informative session, and you will get new terminologies which have to be remembered. So these terminologies are asked many times in exams like a TSPSC and APPSC. So be focused and be attentive. So all this chapter will deal with an order. So this is the order that we are going to follow in this session. So first we will be discussing with the origin of Satavahanas. So and where they originated and who are the historians speaks about, what are the books speaks about the origin of Satavahana. Then the second one we will be discussing about the sources. What are the sources are there to construct the history of Satavahanas? And third, coming into the political history. So we will be dealing with the kings and rulers who ruled the Satavahana Empire. Okay. Then the fourth one, that is going to deal with the administration. Administration is one of the important topic in any dynasty. So which deal with the dynastic administration. Then the other one, economic conditions. So what are their primary income and primary source of income, what they used to do. So this is going to be focused. And the other one, social system. So how the people were living, what is their culture. So all this will be discussing in social system. And literature. In literature part we will be discussing about the books or authors or scholars who has written various works and their literature. And coming to the religion, what are the religion the Satavahanas follows and what are the religion they are also patronized. Okay, so this is going to be the detailed discussion regarding all this. So there are various theories that says about the origin of Satavahanas, but not all are important. So few of them very important. So I have given these important theories. Please kindly note down. So according to BSL Hanumantarao, what he says. So Satavahanas were Aryans. Satavahanas were Aryans. They originated as a Aryans. Okay. Then coming to the other one, the next scholar, that is R.S. Sharma, very important scholar, and he says the Satavahanas are Dravidians. Satavahanas are Dravidians. Then the Jain texts. So they were in the beginning followers of Jainism. So the Jain text Dhatrama Sika Puttalika says. Okay. So according to this book, the Satavahanas were one born to Satavahana. Satavahana is a Brahmin person. Name of the person Satavahana. He was a Brahmin and with a woman from Naga dynasty or Nagar lineage. So the Jain text says about this evidence. Then a book known as a Pratishthanapuram Kalpa. Pratishthanapuram Kalpa. It's a very important book, and so here we will be come acrossing all the text or names again and again. So be attentive what they have said about the history of Satavahanas. So according to this book, basically the book is written by Jina Prabhasusuri. Jina Prabhasusuri, just to write it down. So there will be some of the evidences, means all the information is not given. So I will be telling some important information. So whatever I speak, the important points also you need to write them down. So this book, as I said, is written by Jena Prabhasusuri. So what this book mentions is that Shatavahana belongs to Naga clan. Okay, Shatavahana, a person, belongs to Naga clan, and he married a Brahmin woman. So Brahmin woman was married to Nagaraja, and he was from Naga clan, and they have given a birth to Shatavahanas. So the Shatavahanas were born out of them. So this is the fourth theory that says about the origin of the Shatavahanas. Okay. The next, coming to the next, that is birthplace. So birthplace of Shatavahanas, where they are exactly originated, the place of the birth. So coming to the birthplace of the Shatavahanas, many scholars or historians they say many different kind of theories that they were belonged to a particular state. So Shatavahanas they consider as a regional history. So the focus of regionalism is more. So coming to the each state, they focus on the dynasty, and they interpret that these were born in their state. Like Maharashtra, they consider the Shatavahanas were born in Maharashtra, like that. So Andhra Pradesh also, the Shatavahanas were originated at the birthplace of Shatavahanas is Andhra Pradesh. So who are the scholars who interpreted different way? So let us see. That is the first one we see. We did not take many of the scholars also, only few will be there. And the first one is V.S. Sutkankar. V.S. Sutkankar, what he says, this Shatavahanas were, or Shatavahana birthplace is Karnataka. Shatavahana birthplace is Karnataka. Then the other one, P.T. Srinivas Iyengar. P.T. Srinivas Iyengar, what he says, the birthplace of the Shatavahanas is Maharashtra. So Maharashtra, especially the Nasik region, because the most of the sources we get from Nasik. So he considers that the Shatavahanas are from Nasik region, Maharashtra. A theory also says that the Shatavahanas were from Shatavahana's birthplace is Vidarbha. Vidarbha also one of the place in Maharashtra. Okay. Then we see the next one, that is Dr. D.K. Gopalachari. What along with him, like Bhandarkar and E.J. Rapson. Bhandarkar and V.J. Rapson, what they say, this Shatavahana's birthplace is Andhra region. Bhandarkar and Rapson and Gopalachari. These people, the scholars say that this Shatavahana birthplace is Andhra region. So there are other, like based on discovery of archaeological sources, these Shatavahanas were originated even in Telangana. So from Kotilingala, these Shatavahanas were originated. So we see many coins found in Kotilingala. So who are the historian that says about the origin of or birthplace of Satavahanas in Kotlingala. So that is the first person is Ajay Mitra Shastri. So Ajay Mitra Shastri is the scholar who says that Satavahanas were from Telangana, that's Kotlingala. Then along with him, D.R. Reddy, S. Reddy, and Shankar R. Goel. These are the other historians who supported this theory of birthplace of Satavahana is Kotlingala. So this is some of the evidences that says about the origin of Satavahanas. So there are theories what like these are born in the Andhra region. So we see most of the coins of Simuka found in Kotilingala, and the one of the ruler, 17th ruler of the Satavahanas, that is known as the Hala Satavahana. His wedding was taken place in Draksharam. His wedding was taken place in Draksharamam, that is in present day AP. So these are some of the supporting sources about the origin of Satavahanas. And after that we'll come to the sources. What are the important or what are the sources to construct the history of Satavahanas? So this is also one of the important subheading. Write down all the sources what says about their history. Okay. According to the Puranas are Vedic literature, and we don't consider them as authentic. Okay, but we take few sources even from the Puranas. Okay, Matsya Purana, the Vishnu Purana, Vayu Purana, and Brahmanda Purana. These Puranas give a very valuable information about the Satavahanas, and as they are this Purana, they are as a Andhras. Okay, then what are the Puranas? So according to Vayu Purana, we see Vayu Purana. So the Vayu Purana says there were around 17 kings, or 17 Satavahana kings who ruled for a period of 300 years. Okay. Then the next one, that is Matsya Purana. Matsya Purana says that there were around 30 Satavahana kings, 30 Satavahana kings who ruled for a period of 450 years. Then the rest Puranas, rest of them what they give, these Satavahanas were ruled around like 456 years. So these are all asked for in the exams sometimes, so be aware of it. Then the next one, the Buddhist text. The Buddhist text, they're like Jataka tales or Jataka tales of Buddhist religion. So they also provide good information about the Satavahana. So we also see some of the cave temples, so which are belongs to Buddhist. So in Nasik, like Nasik cave temple, Karle cave temple, and Kanheri cave temple. So these are some of the Buddhist temples that give information regarding Satavahana. And then Chaityas and Stupas in Bhattiprol. So there are some Chaityas and Stupas in Bhattiprolu, a place in AP, Andhra Pradesh. So this also gives information regarding the Satavahanas. And we see the other one, Nagarjuna Konda, one of the place in between AP and Telangana. So and the other one, Amaravati. So these two sources, like Nagarjuna Konda and Amaravati, this also gives evidences regarding Satavahanas. Okay, then coming to the next one, that is Jain text. So Jain text also has got some of the evidences about the Shatavahanas rule. So the book Dvatramsika Puttalika, this book says about the Shatavahanas. So this also gives evidences regarding Satavahanas, and a place known as a Kolanapaka in Telangana. So it's one of the Jain religious place. Okay, Jain's religious place, where we also find some of the sources from this place. Then next, coming to the literary sources. So the books, the various books, literary books that were written by different authors. So what these books say about the Shatavahanas. So these books are written by Indian authors as well as the foreign sources. Okay, so we see that Katha Sarita Sagaram is one of the important book written by Somadeva Suri. So this book gives detailed information regarding Shatavahanas. Then we see Brihat Katha. Brihat Katha is a book written by Gunadya. So this also gives evidences. Then Kama Sutra of Vatsayana. Here also we see the evidences about the Shatavahana. Then next one, Leelavati Parinayam. Leelavati Parinayam is written by Kutuhala. So this also gives evidences regarding Shatavahana. Then Brihat Katha Manjari. Don't confuse yourself with a Brihat Katha. This is Brihat Katha written by Gunadya, and Brihat Katha Manjari. So here Manjari is added. This is written by Kshemendra. Brihat Katha Manjari written by Kshemendra, which says about the history of Shatavahanas. So there is another work like Brihat Katha Sokam. Brihat Katha Sokam is written by Harisena. This also speaks of Shatavahana. And then these are the next is going to the foreign sources, the foreign author sources that says about the history of Shatavahanas. So we will discuss little later what the particular book mentions about. So we see that first foreign traveler, that is Megasthenes. Megasthenes has written Indica. Indica is book. In Indica, the Megasthenes mentions about the Shatavahanas as Andreas. Okay, then Pliny, he has written the book known as a Natural History, and he mentions in this book about the Shatavahanas. So Periples of Earth and Sea, this author is an unknown person, a sailor, unknown person who has written this book. Also says about the about the Shatavahanas. And the next one, Ptolemy. Ptolemy has written a book known as a Guide to Geography. Even this it is mentioned about the Shatavahanas. Then finally, Huang San, who was a Chinese traveler or monk, belongs to Buddhism. So he has written a work known as a Siyoki. Siyoki is a book written by Huang San, which says about the Shatavahanas. So these are some of the literary books that says about the Shatavahanas. Then next, coming to the inscriptions. What are the inscriptions that speaks about the Shatavahanas? So the first one is a Nanagat. Nanagat inscriptions is issued by Devi Naganika. She is a wife of the Shatakarni the first. Okay. It says about the history of Satavahanas. Then the next one, Nasik inscription. Nasik inscription written by Gautami Balasri. She is a mother of the well-known ruler, that Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So she has issued an inscription known as a Nasik inscription. So which says about her son's victory and ruling. Okay. Then we see Atigumpa inscription one of the main important inscriptions and very well known inscription written by Karavela, so which also says about the Satavahanas. So Girnar inscriptions, Girnar and Junagar, these two inscriptions are by Rudradaman, which says about the Satavahanas. Then we see Erragudi inscriptions by Ashoka. So even this inscription says about the Satavahana. And Macedonian inscription, which is written by, or which is issued by the king Pulamavi III. Also, some sources he is also known as Pulamavi IV. Okay, he has written the inscription known as Macedonian inscriptions near Ballari. So this also speaks of Satavahanas. Okay, coming to the next one. So most of all these inscriptions, most of them have written in practice with a Brahmi script. Okay, written in a practice with a Brahmi script. So next we construct history based on a coin sources. So what coin sources say that most of the coins were from Deccan. So most of the coins from Deccan made up of protein, silver and lead. So among these three, the lead is dominantly used or commonly used. Okay, so the coins, Karshapana coins also used by them. What is this Karshapana coins? Is a mixture of copper and silver. Okay, then the gold coins also used. So one gold coin was equal to 35 Karshapanas. 35 Karshapanas. Please write it down. 35, each one gold coin equal to 35 Karshapanas. So the early coins, all these coins, the early coins mainly written in Prakrit, but later on these also written in Tamil. Okay, and the coins, on the coins, what are the symbols were there? So on the coins, one side is symbol, the other side ruler. So they used to mint like. So the common symbols were like horse, elephant, lion, bull or ox, and Buddhist chaityas. These are the common symbols that we see on the coins of Satavahana. Then the next one, we are dealing with the coins and their locations. So various coins and where they are located and what they speak of. The coins belong to Kotilingala and Kanheri. This is the two places. One is in Telangana and another one is Maharashtra. It speaks of a rule of Srimukha, that is the founder of Satavahana dynasty, and the Shatakarni the first. Okay, so these coins speaks of these two rulers, and some of the coins, like coins in Kondapur and coins in Vinukonda. Vinukonda is in Andhra, that is close to Srikakulam. So these two places speaks of coins regarding history of Simukha. Okay, then coming to the next one, that is coins of Gautami, or coins or inscriptions of Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So he is one of the important ruler and powerful ruler of Satavahana Empire. So these coins are excavated at Ghantasala. So Ghantasala is a place in Andhra Pradesh, and Amaravati, one of the capital. There were two capitals, well-known capitals of Satavahana. That is Paitan or Pratistanapuram, and the other one Amaravati, Dharanikota or Dhanyakota. These are the Amaravati, also known as a Dharanikota or Dhanyakota, and Paitan are also known as a Pratisthanapura. So these two are the important capitals of the Shatavahanas. So along with them we consider Kotilingala or Srikakulam. These are some of the regional capitals of these Shatavahanas. So we also see the statue of Gautami Putra Shatakarni in Amaravati. This statue is found in Amaravati or excavated there. And coins in Nagarjunakonda. Some of the coins were discovered or excavated in Nagarjunakonda. That coin speaks of Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So along with that we see some of the Shatakarni, the first, and Gautami Putra Shatakarni. These two rulers, what they did, got the picture, means the picture of Ujjain, means the city of Ujjain is minted on their coins. Okay, during whose period Shatakarni the first and Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So these two rulers minted on their coin the city of Ujjain. So they conquered the Ujjain. When they conquered, so they minted on their coin the city of Ujjain. And we also see the Shatakarni first, with his face on the coins. So his face is minted on the coin. And we also see coins of Agnisri Shatakarni. What is there on the coin is a symbol of shipyard. Okay, symbol of shipyard on the coin. So what this means? So it's the symbol of shipyard means it's a trade relation. So with the contemporary rulers, they had a very good trade relations. So that's why they minted in this way. Okay. Finishing with this the sources of Shatavahanas, so we'll move into the next, that is political history of Shatavahanas. So political history is one of the important chapter that we deal with, and to have a clear knowledge about the rulers, so we need to study about the political history. So if we if we study the political history, and if we have a good understanding about the political history, then all other history, means regarding administration or social conditions or literature, it will be learned automatically, means it becomes easy. So that's why whenever we study the history, our more focus should be on political history. Okay, dealing with the political history, Simuka is the first ruler of Shatavahana kingdom. He is also known as the founder of the Shatavahana empire. So his father of Simuka is known as a Shalivahana or Shatavahana. Shatavahana also called as a Shalivahana or Shatavahana, Shadavahana. So all these are different names of Shatavahana. So Shatavahana is considered the father of Simuka. So coming to Simuka, is considered as a founder of the empire. So we also saw before that most of his coins were found in Kotilingala. His coins were Kotilingala. So that's why is considered is from Telangana region. So Simuka also known as by other names. Okay, Simuka also called as a Chimuka or Simuka according to Matsya Purana. Simuka or Chimuka, these are the names of the founder. Okay, then other names like Shishuka and Siprika, these two names are according to other sources. So Simuka is called by various names by various sources. So dealing with a time period, so there is no proper time period, means some of the work deal with a period. Period is one of the important to know, but it is in still a debate of among the historians about the time period of Satavahanas. So basically there are two periods, that is the Satavahana king Simukha is uh, from the year, means from the 3rd century. One theory says is from 3rd century, and other theory says he lived in a first century BC. So one theory says that he lived in 3rd century BC, and the other theory says that he lived in the 1st century BC. So, but most accepted theory is that he is from 1st century BC. So he lived in 1st century BC. So this is the most accepted one, and this is the evidence out of the discoveries of like coins and inscriptions. All this speaks about the time period, and like 3rd BC, most of them we see from Puranas. Okay, from Puranas, these Satavahanas lived in a 3rd BC. So now the Simukha, he lived, or he was a feudatory, means a subordinate ruler of Mauryas who ruled from Kotilingal. So he is as a subordinate ruler of Mauryas. So he was ruling Kotilingala. So after its fall of Mauryas, the Simukha made its independence. Once the fall of Mauryas took place, so he began to make independent kingdom. And so that's why we see the immediate successors of Mauryas in the Deccan are the Satavahanas. So we also found other names of the Simukha, other names of Simukha. These names are according to the coins. So before names, what of the names we saw, these were regarding the Puranas, the various names regarding Puranas. But now what the names I am giving, it's the names according to the coins. His name is one name is Rangobhadra. Rangobhadra is one name of Simukha, and other name Ranagoswami. Rangobhadra and Ranagoswami. These are the two names of Simukha, which we know from the coins. So then he was basically in the beginning he was a follower of Jainism. So in the beginning he followed the religion known as Jainism. Then later on he converted, or he followed the again the Vedic religion. So most of the rulers of Satavahana, they followed Vedic religion. So some of the places like Kolanupaka in Telangana and Konakondla in Andhra Pradesh. So these are some of the Jain places where it was contemporary of Simukha. And there is one author known as Kondakundacharya, a very important person who lived in a period of Simukha. Okay, he lived in Konakondla from AP, and Kondakundacharya, very important person who lived or contemporary of Simukha. So in Nanagat inscription is written by who? Naganika. Naganika is wife of the Shatakarni I. So what this inscription says, that the Shatakarni the first is a son of Simukha. The inscription, Nanagat inscription, says that Shatakarni is the son of Simukha. And also we see the next one, the Megasthenes. The Megasthenes also mentions about the Satavahanas. As Satavahanas were one of the powerful tribe known as Andheriya. So according to him, Andhras are Andheriya, and this Andheriya or Satavahanas maintained an army of 1 lakh infantry. So it is been exaggerated like, but what he has written, and they had 2,000 cavalry and 1,000 elephants. So this is basically from the Indica written by Megasthenes. So with this we come to the end of Simuka's rule. Then the second ruler we deal with Kanha. Kanha also known as a Krishna. Kanha also is known as a Krishna. So it's basically is a brother of Simuka. He's brother of Simuka and successor of Simuka. So he expanded. So he expanded towards Nasik. Nasik means the western Deccan, and his inscriptions are found. The inscriptions of Krishna, we can see in cave number 19. In Nasik, in cave number 19, we can see the inscription of Krishna. And from this inscription, we come to know that the Krishna has established a department for the welfare of Buddhist monks. So for the welfare of Buddhist monks, Krishna has established a department, separate department. Okay. Then the next ruler, that is Satakarni. The Satakarni first, and he is also known as a Mallakarna. So according to the Puranas, he is also known as a Mallakarna, and he is a son of Simuka, the founder. The Satakarni is the son of Simuka, and he is considered as a real founder of the Satavahana Empire. So real founder means all the power is consolidated and he has a vast empire. So he is considered as a real founder of the Satavahana Empire. And basically is a third ruler. So from the line is a third ruler, and he ruled around 56 years. So during his period, what happened? The glory of Satavahanas. So the glory of Satavahana went its peak, or went on high. So very often we are speaking about the inscription known as a Nanagat. So Nanagat, how the Nanagat inscription is made, like Nanagat inscriptions by Naganika. Naganika is a Sion princess. Sion princess was married to Shatakarni the first. She is a Sion princess, and her name of her father means she is a daughter of Mahavati Trayanukora. So Mahavati Trayanukora is a father of Naganika, who ruled in and around Maharashtra. So he was like a subordinate ruler of the Satavahanas. So once he married, through this matrimonial relationship, the Satavahanas were able to extend their empire towards Maharashtra. And as I said, she is important for writing Nanagat inscriptions. So what this Nanagat inscription says mostly, the first one, that is about the Shatakarni the first, her husband. So it mentions as is had a title like the Suradakshina Padapati. Suradakshina Padapati is a title of Shatakarni, which is mentioned in the Nanagat inscription. So we also see that Shatakarni the first, he fought with Karavela. Karavela basically a ruler of Kalinga from Chedi dynasty. So he is from Chedi dynasty, who ruled in and around Kalinga, that is today's part of Orissa. Okay, and Karavela is said to be attacked the places which are part of the Satavahanas, like Machilipatnam, Mushika Nagaram, and Itunda Nagaram. because these are the places which were attacked by Karavela. And this attack, as we attacked evidences, from where we get these evidences from Atigumpa inscriptions, we come to know that Karavela attacked these places. And according to these inscriptions also, the Karavela, the king, defeated Shatakarni. So Karavela defeated Shatakarni, and same what the Karavela has defeated the Shatakarni, same evidence we also can see from the inscriptions of Guntupalli inscriptions, one of the important inscription that you should remember. So in these inscriptions also we see that Karavela defeated Shatakarni the first. So the next one, that he also defeated Pushyamitra Sunga ruler known as Pushyamitra Sunga. So the Shatakarni defeated Pushyamitra Sunga, and after his victory, what he did? So he began to mint coins on picture on it. Okay, he began to mint a coins picture on it. So after that we see some of the yajnas. So Shatakarni the first, he has performed yajnas like Ashwamedha Yaga. So this Yaga is sending the horses and acquiring the territories. So he used to send the horses, then wherever the horse goes until someone stops the horses, that much extension will be his empire. And in between, if someone stops the horse, then there will be a battle or a discussion about what to do the next. So this was the Ashwamedha Yagam, and it was done by him 2 times. Okay, this was done by him 2 times. Then we see the one time he performed Rajasuya Yaga. So this is for the welfare of the king and people. Basically it is Yaga performed by king. Okay, then we see Shatakarni has donated a lot of land grants and cattle to these Brahmins. So he promoted or he supported Brahmins a lot. Okay, then he even exempted them from paying taxes. So even Shatakarni exempted them from paying taxes. And once his death taken place, basically he had 4 sons. Shatakarni had 4 sons, but all of them were minors. So what, during their minority, what the Naganika did? So Naganika, wife of Shatakarni, she ruled for some time till the minor sons becomes the elder or major. So she ruled the dynasty, Satavahana dynasty, for some time, and there only she issued the inscription, Anagat inscriptions. Then she issued at the death of her husband. Then next we see the Shatakarni the second. So he is not the immediate successor of the Shatakarni the first, but what we see here regarding the history of Satavahanas, so there is no proper evidences regarding the political history of Satavahanas. So the political history is written based on one is the Puranas and one is the archaeological evidences. And according to the Puranas, as I said, there were 30 kings, so who ruled for 450 years. And among the 30 kings, most of them were not important, except a few. Most of them were not important. And according to the archaeological sources, there were around 17 kings. Then we deal with most of these kings who had good sources. So the Shatakarni second is not the immediate successor of the Shatakarni the first. So the Shatakarni the second is a great ruler, and he expanded towards the northeastern Malwa. So Malwa in the north of Satavahanas. So he has expanded towards that, and from Shungar, so he acquired even the Shungar, and from there he had access to Buddhist site known as a Sanchi Stupa. Today Sanchi Stupa, a Buddhist site. He had a accession for it, and which is said he credited with a building of a decorated gateway. So Shatakarni the second is credited with the building of a decorated gateway at a Sanchi Stupa. That is around the original one. Okay, and during this period, we see one of the important sculptor, that is Vasishthiputra Ananda, is a sculptor who was patronized by the Shatakarni the second. Okay, he was a sculptor. And he is the one who issued the inscriptions at Sanchi Stupa. And during the period of Shatakarni the second, we see the struggle between the fight between the Sakas and Satavahanas. So it's going to be a long reign of struggle between these two rulers. So always they have the Kshatrapas or Sakas as the headache or opposite to the Shatavahana. So during this period also the foreign trade began. So the next we see, that is Kuntala Shatakarni is the next ruler that we are going to discuss. So he ruled for a period of 8 years. Okay, and during this period the practice was made as practice was used as a official language of the court. So practice was used as a official language. So he learned or he was taught a Sanskrit by a scholar known as a Sarvavarma. So what Sarvavarma is author of Katantra Vyakarana. So he has written work known as a Katantra Vyakarana. He was the one who taught Kuntala Shatakarni the Sanskrit. And this Katantra Vyakarana is the first book of Sanskrit in South India. This is the first book of Sanskrit in South India. Which is the first book? Katantra Vyakarana is the first book of Sanskrit in South India, which is written by Sarvavarma. And we see the Gunadya, who wrote Brihat Katha, was a contemporary of Kuntala Shatakarni. Then we see the next ruler, that is Pulamavi. Pulamavi is said to be the 15th ruler of the Shatavahana dynasty. And according to Matsya Purana, he is the 15th ruler of Shatavahana dynasty. So what's important during this period is he invaded Kanvas. Kanvas were rivaling neighbors. So he invaded them and he assassinated Sasarma, ruler of Kanva. Okay. Then we see the next ruler, that is Hala. Hala, also known as a Hala Shatavahana, is a 17th ruler of the dynasty. And Hala is known for writing Gada Saptasati. Hala has written the work known as a Gada Saptasati, and the importance of the work is that mainly deals with the social conditions at that time, the social conditions of Shatavahanas during the period of Hala in the Shatavahanas. So since he has written this book known as a Gada Saptasati, so he is called or is given the title as a Kavivatsala. Is also Hala also known as a Kavivatsala. Here we see the title Kavi Vatsala, and it is said that when his commander known as a Vijayananda, the commander of Hala is known as a Vijayananda, who led a campaign. Means Vijayananda led a campaign against Ceylon, that is present day Sri Lanka, and he has seen a beautiful lady known as a Leelavati. So the Vijayananda narrates these stories to Hala. So now Hala Shatavahana wanted to get married with her, and once it happened, Hala got married with a Leelavati, the Ceylon princess, and though we see that some of the evidences that Hala got is married at at a Draksharamam, place known as a Draksharamam. This place is said to be in present day Andhra Pradesh. And there is a story says about that Leelavati. Basically, when this king got married with Leelavati, it is said that he was not educated, so he was illiterate. And once the princess comes to know that he was illiterate or he did not educate, so she left him. Means she leaves him and she goes back to her territory. Means she goes back to her father, and that's the why after that the Hala took initiative to learn or to educate himself, and once he educated, it is said he has written this work known as a Gatha Saptasati. So we also deal that this work Gatha Saptasati, whole entire work is not done by this by him. So we'll see there are many other people who contributed to the writing of Gatha Saptasati. We see this one in the literature part. Okay, then next coming to the Nahapana. Nahapana was a ruler who established a new empire. Okay, who established a new empire at that time. As you know, his empire known as the Western Kshatrapas. So he even also began to extend it into the period of the region of Satavahanas, and he ruled some part of Satavahanas territory. So he was becoming a powerful ruler during the period of Hala Satavahana. So next we will deal with Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So coming to his period is every period is very important from his birth to up to his death. So it is said is 23rd ruler of the Satavahana Empire. So he was said is 23rd ruler of Satavahana Empire, and there are two periods that says about his reign. So one that is he ruled around for a period of 21 years, and other one 24 years. So 24 years is accepted, most accepted. Okay, then we see his parents. The parents of Gautami Putra Shatakarni is one of the very important, powerful, brave, and victorious king. So he got all the victories wherever he led, and during his empire, during his reign, his empire expanded a vast empire. Okay, we see the parents. So his father name is known as a Shivaswata. Shivaswata is name of his father, and his mother is a Gautami Balasri. So we might be knowing very well about this lady, Gautami Balasri, mother of Gautami Putra Shatakarni, who issued a inscription known as a Nasik inscription. So Nasik inscription which gives details regarding the history of Shatavahanas, especially about the Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So we see some of his titles of Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So Trisamudra Toya Pitavahana. Trisamudra Toya Pitavahana is one of the title that Shatakarni had, And we see Ek Brahmana. Ek Brahmana. Why is a stand follower of Brahmanism or Vedic religion? So he supported many Brahmins, means he gave land free grants to Brahmins, and they were exempted from taxes. So that's why he's called or is given the title known as a Ek Brahmana. And then we see Kshatriya Darpamana Vardhana. Kshatriya Darpamana Vardhana. And then Agama Nilaya, the other one. Then the another one, Dakshina Samudreshwara. Dakshina Samudreshwara. So ruler of South Ocean. Then we see Ekashura, the other title Ekashura, and the other one Vijakula Vardhana. This is the famous title, and this title asked most of the time whose title is known as a Vijakula Vardhana. So Gautami Putra Shatakarni. Okay. So it is said that his horse has drink the three waters of three oceans. That means he is expanded towards the three, like Bay of Bengal, covering Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, and the other side Arabian Sea. So it means that one. And we see the next one, that is his accession, means when he came to the throne as a king. So what happened? It is considered as a Shatavahana year. As he accessed on the throne, so this year is celebrated as a Shatavahana year. And this year in the calendar, it's followed by only one ruler, that is Ramachandra, king of Devagiri. He used to follow the Shatavahana calendar. Okay, when the Shatavahana calendar began with the accession of Gautami Putra Shatakarni, the Shatavahana calendar began. So we also see from beginning of his empire or rule. So this from him onwards, the rulers began to tag their mother name before their name. Okay, they used to add their mother's name before their name. Okay, for example, we see the name of this ruler Gautami Putra Shatakarni. See, like her mother name is Gautami, and Putra, the son of Satakarni. So Gautami Putra Shatakarni, and there are other names like Vasishti Putra Pulamavi. So Vasishti is a name of his mother. So likewise, these rulers began to tag their mother's name before their name, and it shows that the women were given lot of importance in this period. Okay. And then next one, he had a war, or he fought with the Nahapana is a ruler of Western Kshatrapas, who started his empire during the period of, who began his empire period of Hala Shatavahana. So now he became so powerful, and he was able to come to a war with the Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So what happened in this war? The Gautami Putra Shatakarni has defeated Nahapana, the ruler of Western Kshatrapas, and he has acquired from some of his territories. Some of his territories were acquired by Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So like the territories Anupa and Aparanta, Saurashtra, Avanti, Konkan region. These are the places or regions acquired by Gautami Putra Shatakarna in defeating Nahapana, the ruler of Western Kshatrapas. So we see his coins, the coins of Gautami Putra Shatakarni, that one side it will be like clown, and the other side the rising sun. The other side the rising sun, like Surya Namaskar. The symbol will be there. And during this period, we see the trade began with the Romans. During this period, there was a trade between the Romans and Satavahanas. The trade was done by the port known as Vaijayanti. From the port of Vaijayanti, they had a trade relation with the Romans. According to the Junagadh inscriptions of Rudradaman, or Junagadh inscriptions written by or issued by Rudradaman, which say that Rudradaman defeated Gautamiputra Shatakarni. So, according to this inscription of Junagadh, Rudradaman defeated Gautamiputra Shatakarni, and he had acquired some of the territories like Vidarbha and Asmaka. These two territories were acquired by the Rudradaman, which Rudradaman defeated Gautamiputra Shatakarni. So now Gautamiputra Shatakarni, he also known for some of his victories, like he has defeated Indo-Greeks. Let me take another slide. Okay, here he defeated Indo-Greeks. Indo-Greeks were known as Yavanas. Defeated Yavanas and Parthians. So he defeated Yavanas and Parthians. So this is all about some of the victories of Gautamiputra Shatakarni. So as I said, Gautami Balasri is she is a mother of Gautamiputra Shatakarni, and she is known for issuing the inscription known as a Nasik Prashasti, or also known as the Nasik inscriptions. So what this inscription says? So this inscription says about all the victories that Gautamiputra got over the other region. So basically, the Nasik Prashasti is written in Prakrit. So basically Prakrit was the official language of Satavahanas. So to write this Nasik inscription, then Prakrit was used. And who were the people who has written this inscription? So it's issued by Balasri, but there is someone to write now. So it was written by Sivaswamy and Mahaswamy. Sources get only in some places. So remember this name, Sivaswamy and Mahaswamy. These two people are the people who has written the Nasik inscriptions. And we see the next, Gautamiputra Shatakarni also issued an inscription known as the Karla inscription. Karla inscription issued by Gautamiputra Shatakarni. And he also, the Gautamiputra also constructed a Baj and Basa caves in Maharashtra. And he had built a city is called Benakataka. Benakataka is a town or city constructed or built by Gautamiputra Shatakarni. So these are some of the very important and interesting evidences regarding Gautamiputra Shatakarni, and there is a lot more to study about the way how we acquired the territories, like from Western Kshatrapas, Yavanas, all these rulers. So if you want, you can also study in very details. Okay, I have given the most which is important in his period. Okay, after him we deal with the next ruler, that is Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. He is the son and successor of Gautamiputra Shatakarni. He is the son and successor of Gautamiputra Shatakarni. Now, what this Vasishtiputra Pulamavi is called? The Ptolemy story. Ptolemy, who has written the work known as a Guide to Geography. What he calls the Vasishta Pulamavi, he calls him as Ptolemy. So this is the name that called by Gautamiputra, the Ptolemy, and is a contemporary of Chastana. Chastana is a ruler of Saka Western Satrapas. So he was a contemporary of Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. So during this period, we see some of the inscriptions were erected. So those were Nasik and Amaravati inscriptions. Nasik and Amaravati inscriptions were erected during this period. So Nasik's inscriptions issued by Gautami Balasri, but erected by her son. Erected by her grandson, that is Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. Okay, then we deal with next some of his titles like Navanagara Swami. He has a title known as a Navanagara Swami. Then next Dakshina Padeshwarudu. So Dakshina Padeshwarudu is another title of Pulamavi, Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. So these are the two titles, and we see that according to the Junagadh inscriptions, which is written by Rudradaman, that Rudradaman defeated Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. Then Rudradaman, the king Western Satrapas, he has defeated Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. And during his period, most of the coins were found in part of Andhra and Telangana. So entirely the focus came on the region of Andhra and Telangana. So most of his coins were found in this region. Okay, and during his period, there were special type of coins. So special type of coins shipped with a double mast. Ship with a double mast means ship will be there like this, and on top we keep some like this to have a balance. So this is with a like this, the ship with a double mast. So we see such kind of special types of coins during the period of Vasishtiputra Pulamavi. Then we see next ruler, that is Vasishtiputra Shatakarni. So Vasishtiputra Shatakarni. So during this period, what happened? He said to be married the daughter of Rudradaman. It married Rudradaman, and now they had a matrimonial relation. Why the Shatakarni wanted to have a matrimonial relationship? So very often he was attacking. Rudradaman was attacking Satavahana king Shatakarni. So he was defeated by him twice. And to stop or to put a checkmate to this Rudradaman, so he wanted to marry the daughter of Rudradaman. So like that he stopped a rivalry between the Rudradaman and him. And but later on there were a fresh conflict. Means the fight began after him, the next ruler, that is Shivasri Pulamavi. During this period, again the fresh conflict began between the Rudradaman and Satavahanas. But even Shivasri Pulamavi also said to be defeated by Rudradaman. Even Rudradaman defeated him too. So now let us see about the Yagnashi Shatakarni, one of the last important ruler of the Satavahana Empire. He was one of the last important ruler of Satavahana Empire, and he is a 27th ruler. Yagnashi Shatakarni is a 27th ruler of Satavahana Empire according to the source. Chinnaganjam inscription known as a Chinnaganjam. According to inscription, that he is the 27th ruler of Satavahana dynasty. So during this period what happened, basically the Shatavahana ruler used to be rule either eastern side of the Deccan or western side of the Deccan. So there were very few rulers who ruled combining both eastern and western Deccan. So he is the one ruler who combined both and ruled the empire, eastern and western Deccan. And during his period we see Matsya Purana was compiled. Matsya Purana was compiled during his period. And the next one, that is Acharya Nagarjuna. Acharya Nagarjuna, a very well known Buddhist scholar from the Mahayana sect of Buddhism. Okay, so he was a Buddhist scholar, thinker, philosopher and saint. Okay, the school which he followed is known as a Madhyamika. This Madhyamika school of philosophy, this is also known as a middle way. As I said, he is a defender of Madhyamika sect of Buddhism. And some of the works which is written by Acharya Nagarjuna, like Mula Madhyamika Karika is one of the work. Mula Madhyamika Karika, Sunyata Saptati is one of his work, and Ratnavali and Bodhicitta Vivarana. These are some of the works of Acharya Nagarjuna, who lived during the period of Yajnashi Shatakarna. We also say is contemporary of Yajnashi Shatakarna, who ruled or who reigned in his kingdom, who was in his court. So during his period of Yajnashi Shatakarna, there was a trade with Roman which flourished well. So which trade was flourishing during the period of Yajnashi Shatakarna. And Banabhatta, the historian of Arshacharita, Banabhatta has given a title known as a Trisamudra Adhipati. Trisamudra Adhipati is a title given by Banabhatta to Yajnashi Shatakarni. After him we see the last ruler, that is Pulamavi. In some inscription he is also known as a Pulamavi the third, and some, according to Puranas, the Pulamavi fourth. Means different kings, but time period depends upon the sources from where we get. He was the last king of Satavahana Empire. Pulamavi the fourth or third is the last king of Satavahana Empire, and he was defeated by Sri Shantamula. Sri Shantamula is a king of Ikshvaka dynasty who defeated him, and he also driven out by the empire by the Sri Shantamula. So with this we come to the end of political history of Satavahana dynasty. Okay, then from then onwards, after the Pulamavi, the Ikshvaku dynasty reigns over the present day Andhra region. So we'll deal with this with the next chapter, and continuing with Satavahanas. Now we'll deal with the administration system of Satavahana kingdom or Satavahana empire. So the Satavahanas followed the Mauryan administration, similar to Mauryan administration, but there were many changes. With the many changes, they ruled or they administered the kingdom. And regarding the administration system, we get sources like from Nasik and Humangar inscription. These inscriptions says about the administration of the Satavahana kingdom, and there are other sources like Ardhashastra of written by Kautilya. Who has written the Ardhashastra? Ardhashastra is written by Kautilya, and Kama Sutra of Vatsayana. Vatsayana has written Kama Sutra, and Dharma Shastras of Manu. So these are the some of the important books or evidences that gives about the or evidences gives about the administration of the Satavahana Empire. So we'll deal with two, like administration of Satavahana is divided into two, that is first central administration, then provincial administration. So the provinces were called as aharas. Okay, anyway, first we'll deal with central administration, then we'll go to the provincial administration. Okay, dealing with the central administration, the king is the supreme authority. So all the powers were in the hands. So whatever the king says, that has to be done. So whatever the king orders, it has to be maintained. So basically, during the period of Shatavahanas, we see a king raised from the position of human to god. So now king is considered as a god in the Shatavahana Empire, and so to have a soft or smooth administration of the empire, so the king was assisted by ministers. So ministers with different departments, and we see there were four important departments or ministers who helped king in a soft, smooth administration. So let us see what are the departments or ministers who helped king. The first one is Vishwamitya. Okay, not Vishwamitya, Amatya. So we can see here two words like a Vishwa and Amatya. So like Vishwamitya is PM, means Pradhana Mantri at that time. So he used to advise to the king in all the issues and all the matters. So whatever has to be dealt with administration or war or military, so whatever it may be, everything is discussed with king by Vishwamitra, that is Pradhan Mantri or Prime Minister. And next we see Rajamatya. So Rajamatya is a minister, is what's his work. So whatever the orders or whatever the king says, whether these are happening, means the policies are implemented properly or not. So these are checked by Rajamatya. So he takes care of the implementations of policies, not politics. This is policies. Then next minister, that is the minister of finance, known as a Mahamatya. It deals with the finance of the kingdom, takes care of all the accountants and all the money that is coming and going. He's the head of this finance ministry. Now the next minister is Amatyas. Amatyas, as I said, Amatya is a head of the Aharas, means so Ahara means a province. We see that Shatavahana kingdom is divided into many provinces, and provinces were called as Aharas, and the head of the Ahara, head of the province, is called as Amatyas. So these are the four important ministers or department that deals with the Shatavahanas. So these are the two hands to the king. And there are some other small ministers who used to do their duty, like we see some of them, like Bandagarika. We see Bandagarika is a collector or collects the taxes. So he collects the taxes in produce kind, collect the taxes in kind. And Haranika is another tax collector, or collect the tax in cash. He collects the cash in cash, collects the taxes in cash. So have a difference between this Bandagarika and Haranika. both are tax collectors, but one collects in produce or kind, and another produce, and another collects in cash. And the next is Nibandhanakara is he safeguards the records. He safeguards the records or documents, with important records or documents in the kingdom. It is safeguarded by this Nibandhanakara. Then we see Maharyaka. Maharyaka is a legal department. It deals with the legal works of the kingdom. Then next Lekaka. Lekaka is a person or duty. That's a person who prepares letters and inscriptions. Means his work is to prepare the letters and inscriptions, whatever the king says. Then the next one is a Mahatalvara. Mahatalvara is a commander or commander in chief. So he is head of the army. He commands the army. So based on the orders of king, the commander is run or does according to the king's order. Then Dutta is a diplomat. So in the period of war, so he plays a main important role. So if suppose the war is taking place, and sometime it has some wars concludes with peace. So this is the person who plays main role in concluding the treaty or peace treaties. And we see the next one, Pratihara. It's a person with who gives a security of ports. There are 4 ports, important ports. So he gives security from the external view, means from the external aggression. So no one should destroy them. So like that, you used to look after the security of the forts. Yes. Then Rajabhaksha. We say Rajabhaksha. His work is he measures the land. Rajabhaksha, he measures the land, and once he measures, he imposes the taxes and collects the taxes. So he is the Rajabhaksha. Then we see Akshapataka. Akshapataka is a person who writes the orders of the king. Now, king wants to give order to his people or to minister also, or to anyone. So the orders are written by this person known as a Akshapataka. So these are some of the important part of the central administration, and also and we deal with the provincial administration of the Satavahana Empire. So we see the provincial administration like hierarchy. The first is a province. Province is called Aharas. Aharas. Who is the head of the Aharas? So Amartya is the head of the Ahara. Then we see the next administration, the lower division, that is Visheshas. Visheshas is a other part, means the lower part to the administration. Then the next is a Grama. Grama is the smallest or lowest unit of the administration, which deals with the village administration. So this is administration division divided likewise. Now we see some important one, that is Nigamas. Nigamas were known as towns. These Nigamas are administered by Nigama Sabha. It's like a Sabha, Nigama Sabha, and members of Nigama Sabha is known as Gahapatis. Members of Nigama Sabha is known as Gahapatis. Gahapatis were the members of Nigama Sabha. So basically Nigams were administered by Gahapatis. Okay. Then we will deal with the village administration. So head of the village administration is a Gulmika. Who is the head? Gulmika is the head of the village administration. And Grama Sabha used to organized. So Grama Sabha used to be organized every time, and the Gulmika plays a head of this Grama Sabha, and some clusters of the gramas means some villages. So the bunch of villages are called as a Gulma. Gulma. Okay, bunch or cluster of villages were called as a Gulma. Important term. This is please remember is. And we see Mahakaryaka. This is the person in the village administration level. So his duty is at the level of village administration. So what is his duty? He used to solve the problems in the villages. So whatever the problems like water or food or any other problems which arises in the villages, so he used to solve these problems. So these are faced by or solved by Mahakaryaka. So what's the main source of income to the Satavahana king is agriculture. So the most of the income, the source of income is agriculture. So the land revenue is another major source of income. So it's also part of the agriculture. So it's another major source of income. And land used to be surveyed. Means the land used to be like present day how we are surveying the land. That time also there was a system of surveying the lands. And for the lands the tax was fixed. And each time means every time the taxes were collected. So the collector of tax means the person who collects the tax is known as a Rajagahaka. Rajagahaka is the person who collected the tax. And at that time we see agricultural lands. So agriculture is, I put in a short, agri lands. So it's agricultural lands. So agricultural lands were called as a Sita Kshetras. So Sita Kshetras are the agricultural land and which is administered by Sita Adhyaksha. So these are administered by Sita Adhyaksha. Then the next we see main commercial crop. So commercial crop, we are talking about the commercial crop, not food crop. So it's a coconut. So other crops like food crops, paddy was there prevalent, sugar cane, maize, mustard and lentil. These are some of the important other crops which were cultivated during the period of Satavahana. Okay, then we see that the mode of transportation. The mode of transportation is the bullock carts. Nowadays we are having buses, cars, trains, airplane and helicopter, even to rocket to space. But now those days they used to have a basic transportation is the bullock cars. Suppose if they wants to go from Mumbai to Delhi, it may take around for us it may take nowadays 1 hour, but at those days it might be taking 10 to 15 days. So such kind of transport system was existed. Then we see some of the important taxes that were paid or collected by the king or paid by the people. Okay, and we see that first one is the Baga. Baga is a tax on products. And this tax is collected by 1/6 part. Means Baga is collected 1/6 of the tax. And the next is a Karukara. Karukara is a tax on girls. So we see many girls further girls are professions. Different professions were there. These professions were, for example, carpenter, potter, goldsmith,
All these were some of the guides or professionals. So tax on them is known as a karukara. Then the next tax is a kara. Kara is a tax on a vegetable and nursery. Nursery means the where the plants are, these are sold. Then next is the sulka. Sulka is a very important. Most of the time this question is asked. It's a sulka is a tax on water or water tax. Okay. And as I said already, coins were lead, protein, silver, and gold. And lead is the dominant and common at that time. Then next we'll deal with gold coins. So at that time they were gold coins also, and these coins during this period, coins were called as a karshapanas. Karshapanas are the coins. Just write it down, karshapanas. So 35 karshapanas equal to 1 gold coin. 35 karshapanas equal to 1 gold coin. Then the next we see that is the trade and commerce. Trade and commerce. So at that time there were many industries existed, and the places and the what they are famous for, the important places and what they are important for. So we see some Gudur. So Gudur is a place, and this was the famous for the textile industry. This was the famous for the textile industry. And the next one is Vinukonda. Vinukonda is a place, and it is famous for a smelting industry. Smelting industry like iron and gold, all these were smelted here. And we see the next one, Palnadu. Palnadu is famous for diamond industry. And Guntupalli is famous for copper and iron industry. Guntupalli is famous for copper and iron industry. And next, Prathisthanapuram. Prathisthanapuram is one of the capital of the Satavahanas. So it is famous for zinc and textile industry. Zinc and textile industry. Then the next, Vidisha. Vidisha is another one which is famous for clothing and ivory items. Which is famous for clothing and ivory items. And we see some of the seaports, means the ports where it's there. Okay, seaports of Satavahanas. So first we see on the western side of the Satavahana Empire. So on the western side we see some of the important seaport like Bharukacha. Bharukacha is important port in Gujarat. Bharukacha is one of the important seaport in Gujarat, which was the part of Satavahana Empire for some time. Then the next one is Sopara. Sopara is a part of Maharashtra. So we are seeing, looking at the western side, that is the Bay of Arabian side. And the other one, Kalyani is in part of Karnataka. So these are the three main important seaports during the period of Satavahana on the western part. Then we see the seaports on the eastern side of the Satavahana Empire, that is the side of Bay of Bengal. So we see Mysolia. Mysolia is one of the important seaport of Satavahana, which is known as Machilipatnam, nowadays Machilipatnam. And the next one, Kantakasila. Kantakasila is in Ghantasala, is part of AP. And we see Kodaria and Korangi. These are the two important seaports in the eastern side, which is located in the Andhra Pradesh. And then we see other one, Arikamedu. Arikamedu is one of the important seaport. Arikamedu is also important historical place. So this is located in Puducherry. So except Arikamedu, most of them or all of them are part of Andhra Pradesh. So on the eastern side of the ports, most of the ports are most of the ports are located in Andhra Pradesh except Arikamedu. So there used to be a trade taking place. Always since there are many ports, the trade used to take place, and what are the items that were exported and imported? That what are the items exported into means from the Shatavahana Empire, and what are the things exported into the empire? So the first we see with the exports. The exports, like we come to know through these exports and imports through the work of Periples of the Earth and Sea. This is by an unknown author. So through this work we come to know the exports and imports of the Shatavahana Empire. The perfume and ivory pearls, decoration items, sandalwood, diamonds and copper, these are some of the items which were exported from the Shatavahana Empire. And imports means they used to acquire, means to they used to get into their kingdom. Like imports were red coral gemstone and camphor, gold, silk, wine and pearls, etc. These were the some of the means these were the imports to the Shatavahana Empire. Okay, with this we come to an end with the topic economic conditions, and we next will deal with the social system, social condition of Shatavahana. So social condition means uh, it was a patriarchal society. Means since they had names before their names, they had mother's name. Like they tagged their mother name before their name, like Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So it does not mean it was a matriarchal society. It was a patriarchal society, but they have given, the rulers have given importance to the women or to their mother. So women were given much importance, and they were allowed to participate in assemblies, okay, and festivals like that. So now the next Varna system. There was a Varna system prevalent, and the four Varnas like Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudras. These four divisions means of the society as Varna system is existed or continued during the period of Shatavahanas. And we see, but four Varnas were there, but Brahmins, and most of the time Brahmins were given the importance, and the Brahmin domination was more at that time, and they were the Brahmins were the a symbol of the Vedic Dharma or Vedic religion in the society. So even the period of Shatavahana, they are considered as a like equal to God, means they are close to God. So such importance was given to the Brahmins. And what happened? The kings, even the kings are from Brahmin society, means they were also Brahmins. We see mostly that Gautami Putra Shatakarni, that had a title known as Ek Brahma. So like that, the rulers also is said to be the Brahmins, and the kings gave them free land grants. Means they were in the society, the people were imposed taxes, and so but coming to the Brahmins, they were not imposed taxes, and apart they were given them, means given free land grants, means land was given free for them, and they need not to pay any taxes for that land. So like here we see that poor are becoming poor and the rich are becoming richer. Like already the Brahmin society is a little rich society, a dominated society, and now still they have given the free land grants, and the weaker section of the society, whoever is doing farming or agricultural, they were imposed taxes. So even these differences we could find during the period of Shatavahanas. And we see some joint family system was prevalent or existed. So joint family, nowadays the joint family means, nowadays the family is only consisting of father, mother, brother and sister, or even sometime only one son or one daughter, that's enough. But now, those days there used to be joint family, like uh, father, mother, uncle, auntie, grandpa, grandma, and mother side, grandpa, grandma, uncles like father's brother, father's sister. So like there used to be within one family, joint family, many members, more than 30 members used to be live in one house. So this was the joint family condition. Then next we deal with the women position this at the time. So as I said, women were given importance during the period of Shatavahanas. So they were equal to men, equal to men, not in all the cases, but in the matters of festivals, congregations and assemblies. Whenever there is a festival, same equivalent given to man and women. And same like assemblies, they were women were allowed to go into the assembly and participate and talk about the things whatever is going on. Okay. And we also see women's made donations, means at the time, like we see Gautami Putra, Shatakarni's mother Gautami Balasri, and Naganika, the wife of Shatakarni the first. So these women were donated some of the Buddhist caves or chaitas to the monks. And these are like chaitas, viharas, arams, these were built in that places. And we see the women contribution in the literature. So we are giving importance here, like as I said in the beginning, Gala Saptasati was written by Hala, where the entire work is not written by Hala Shatavahana. So they were contributors of to that work. Mainly some of the women who contributed to that work were like Madhavi, Revati, Anupama, Labba, and Anulakshmi. These were the women who contributed in writing of the Hala's work, that is Gada Saptasati. So we see the next is the Sati. Sati was prevalent in I have given a small name, that is Sati. Sati was prevalent in Satavahana Empire, and we come to know this through the work of Strabo. So this is one of the important bit. So through whose work we come to know that there is a Sati system in Satavahana Empire. This is a question. So he will be giving some local works and Strabo. So you know how to remember, this is the Strabo is a foreigner who wrote about the history of Satavahanas. So we have to remember his name. Strabo is the person who gave evidences regarding the Sati that is existed in the Satavahana Empire. And in next we see slavery. Slavery was also prevalent. Slavery was also existed in the Satavahana Empire. So how do we come to know this? The slavery was there in Satavahana. Means slavery means people were made to work as slaves in their homes, and they were not given salary. They were not paid money. So they were simply they were worked, and mostly they were given food by their owners. So entire life they used to work for the sake of the owner. So that was the slavery system. Okay. So who gives evidence evidence regarding the slavery system? So we see in Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra is a book written by Vatsayana. So it gives evidences about the slavery. So it's important, who gives evidences regarding the slavery in Satavahana Empire. So that is Kama Sutras, Vatsayana. Then other work also, Gunadya. Gunadya has written which work? Brihat Katha. So in Brihat Katha we see there is a slavery. So where they used to work, like agricultural fields, shops, and near to the merchant, means the rich merchants will be there. So these are the places where the slaves used to be working. I have added this one. Agriculture is during at the time. Agriculture used to be was developing, and new they were using new techniques to improve the productivity of agricultural. So productivity of agricultural, and there is a term known as a udayantrikas. What is the term udayantrikas? This means uh, it's a team of professionals who were appointed to do the task of innovation in agriculture. So their task was to give innovative ideas to increase the productivity of agricultural at that time. Okay, now let us see some of the tools that were used at the time by farmers. Like we see tools, Udagayantra. Udagayantra means plow, the nagali. So this is one of the tool, and Gatiyantra. Gatiyantra is a tool. It's a pulls water from wells. So it is a puller of means to give water to the field. So this tool used to help to draw the water from the well. And we see Garika Yantra. Garika Yantra is a tool which separates the seed from the raw cotton. So Garika Yantra is a tool which separates the seed. So in the cotton there used to be seeds. So those seeds has to be separated. So this tool Garika Yantra is used to separate the seed from the cotton. And we see some of the trade associations. So there were both internal and external trade increased, and people of each profession were divided into some of the groups. And so the each a smaller group of people used to divide it into small groups and form unions. Nowadays, how you are forming unions like a teacher union or professor unions for the means the unions for the welfare of their people. Okay, like that unions were formed at the time too, and these unions were called, or this union or associations were called as a guilds or shrenis. These unions were called as a guilds or shrenis, and every guild or every shreni as a head, every guild or every shreni as a head is called as a shresti. Every guild and every guild has a head known as a shresti. And we come to know this one about this different types of guilds or shresti through the inscription of Nasik. Through the Nasik inscriptions we come to know about these guilds. So these are the important terminology guilds, and most of these terminologies asked in the exams, especially TSPSC and APPSC. So kindly remember this terminology is very important. So the first guild that is we are going to do is a Halika. Halika is a guild or Shreni. It deals with is a agriculturist, farmer or agriculturist. And Sethi is a merchant. Sethi is a merchant. And Seva Vadika is a sculptor. So that means the time sculptors were there. Swarnakara is a goldsmith. Gatika means perfume maker, person who makes the perfume. Tilapisika is a oil merchant. So oil is to be prepared and is known as a Tilapisika. And Kasakara means bronze caster, who prepares the item with a bronze. And Udakayantri, already we saw this one. Udakayantri, maker of water tools. Udakayantri, okay. And then we see Shardavahas means international trade. Kulara Kulara, potters, who makes or who prepares makes a pot. Okay, and Chamakara, tanhairs. Chamakara is a tanhairs here. Kolikula is a weavers. Kolikula is a weavers. Mardakas is a makers of musical instruments. So they were different kinds of musical instruments at the time, and these makers of musical instruments were known as a Mardakas. And Vasakaras. So Vasakara is a weavers. Already we saw Kolikula. So this weavers is different from Vasakaras. These weavers were worked for only household implements, means household furniture. Okay. Kusaranakara is a ornament maker. Kusaranakara is a ornament maker. Malakara. So we say in Hindi, I think Mala means that is garland. So Mala means garland. So here Malakara means a flower merchant. So garland is made up of flowers. So like that we have to interconnect. Malakara means flower merchant. Vadika, carpenter. Vadika means carpenter, the person who does the furniture, the wooden works. So with this we come to the end the topic, the social conditions of Satavahanas. So next we'll deal with the literature under Satavahanas. Literature under Satavahanas. So what are the works were written? So there are works which are repeated, means most of the works already are told in the sources of the Satavahana Empire. So most of the books are told, and same works will be repeated here, and some of them missing, like. Okay, so official language was a Prakrit. What was the official language? Like Prakrit was the official language, and even it was used for a daily way of life, means the practice also used by daily way of life. And the during the period of Hala is known as a golden age for practice. So as we know that Hala has written the work Gada Saptasadi, and each period is known as a golden age for a Prakrit. And the entire most of the inscriptions which were written by this Shatavahanas were made up of Prakrit. These are made up of written in Prakrit. And we see about some of the Telugu. So at the time Telugu did not come, so later on it emerged, but it was like partly came, like it was beginning for a Telugu. Okay, the first word in Telugu we see this word was asked in exams. The first word in Telugu is a Nagabu is the first Telugu word, and we see means Nagabu. This is from we come to know from the Amaravati inscriptions. From Amaravati inscriptions, we come to know the first Telugu word is Nagabu. And we see Gada Saptasati work by Hala, which has written, which had a few Telugu words in it. And what are the those words? Just let us. You can write it down. Down the Telugu words like Atta, Potta, Pilla, Bundi, Rampa, Addam, Maila, Podi, Kusuru. These are some of the Telugu words which we come across in the Gada Saptasati, which is written by this Hala. And we see next that literature part, Brihat Katha is a work written by Gunadya. So before we know about him that he gives evidence regarding the slavery. Okay, then Leelavati Parinayam is the work by Kutuhala. Lilavati Parinayam by Kutuhala. This book all about the marriage, means the marriage was marriage of Hala, the ruler, the king of Satavahana, with the Lilavati princess of Ceylon. And it is said that in this book only that is written that this Hala marriage took place in Draksharamam. Draksharamam is a place where the marriage of Hala taken place. And here also you should remember that this work, Gunadhya's work, Brihat Katha, is written in Paisachi language. Okay, Brihat Katha is written in Paisachi language. And we see next. And next, these are some of the Sanskrit works. So we see in the Sanskrit work, like the first half of the Shatavahana kings used Prakrit as official language, and they developed the Prakrit. And the later part of the Shatavahana, the later rulers of Shatavahana, they promoted this Sanskrit. Even some of the like Acharya Nagarjuna and Buddhist Mahayana, even in the Buddhist Mahayana sect, most of the works were in Sanskrit. Okay, now let us see some of the works and by whom it is written. Like a Katantra Vyakarna, already we have seen this one. Katantra Vyakarna by Sarvavarma. Sarvavarma has written the work Katantra Vyakarna. And next, Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra, already say Kama Sutra by Vatsayana. So in this Kama Sutra, we also know some of the important festivals which were celebrated by this Shatavahanas. So like Kaumudi Agam. Remember these festivals. Even the festivals are asked in the exams. Okay, Kaumudi Agam. Gata Nibandhana. Connection. I just erased. Gata Nibandhana. Okay, Madanostavam. And Hala Udyanavana. Hala Udyanavana is another festival name. These are the festivals names you should remember, and even these are asked in the exams. And now, as I told before, the musical instruments. Okay, musical. Who were the guides or shreshtis who like a profession, like who made the musical instruments? So you remember the Mardakas were the people or professionals who used to make musical instruments. Now what are the musical instruments that were played in the period of Shatavahana? So we see Mrudangam. Mrudangam was one of the important musical. Sankam, Veena, Venuvu. So Venuvu. These are the important musical instrument names. Please kindly remember. And coming to the next one, that is the education system of this Shatavahanas. Okay, now they followed the Gurukula system of education. Means Gurukula system means the student used to send to the Guruji, and he used to be there for a period of 10 to 15 years, and he learns everything with his master, and he serves master. So like that. So even these parents used to pay some of the money or kind in cash, so that the master used to live along with his Shishyas, that is disciples. Okay, this is the education, and there is a university in of University of Dhanyakataka, and this universities made a basis for establishing or building or constructing another university known as the University of Lhasa in Tibet. So there is a University of Lhasa in Tibet, so it gave an inspiration. Okay, and the education system was all in Prakrit mostly. Sometimes the Sanskrit was there, but they followed the medium of education was Prakrit. So now, before we talked about guides, different guides and trainees, other words, trainees. So what these people used to do, so these guides used to teach their children the profession, whatever they are doing. Suppose now we take Gatika. Gatika is a guide who makes a perfume. Okay, this is the person, he teaches his children, or he teaches his son or daughter same profession to make perfume. For example, like that only, Udagayantra means a person who makes the water implements. So Udagayantra is a person who makes the water implements, and he used to make his son as again Udagayantra. So this is the situation, means girls used to teach their children the same profession. So the profession is continued likewise. Okay, next, coming into the next topic, that is religion of Satavahanas. So this is the one of the last topic that we are dealing. So Satavahanas followed Vedic religion, Jainism, Buddhism, and they patronized like Bhagavatism. So all the religions were existed at that time. So now let us see some of the religions, like how the Vedic religion was. So Vedic religion was followed by these Satavahanas, and the Brahmins. Since the Satavahanas were Brahmins, so they followed Vedic religion. And we see Shatakarni, the first and the second, and the Gautami Putra Shatakarni. So these rulers who had performed the yagnas or yagas. So basically the yagnas and yagas are in the Vedic religion, means in the Hinduism, or in the uh, Vedic way of life. So these rulers have performed these yagas and yagnas. And we see next that Gautami Putra Shatakarni followed the Varnashrama Dharma, and gave a prominent position to many Brahmins. Means he has given important positions to the Brahmins. Means they used to play a vital role even in the administration system. So because of this land grants to Brahmins, and free from them from the clutches of taxes. So all this considering, he was called as a Ek Brahmana. Who was called as a Ek Brahmana? Gautami Putra Shatakarni was called as a Ek Brahmana. So at this time we see some of the prayers to Hindu deities or Vedic deities, like Indra, Vasudeva, Surya, Chandra, Yama, and Varuna. These were the prayers offered to the deities during the Vedic religion or Vedic in the Shatavahana period. And we also come to know through the Nanagat inscriptions, which is written by Naganika, says that Shatakarni the first has donated many cows and lands, goats to Brahmins. Means it's like encouraging, promoting the religion, a Vedic religion. Okay, and we also saw that in the beginning, Srimukha, the founder of the Satavahana Empire, he followed Jainism, but later on he converted to follow the Vedic religion. Then the next one, the next religion, that is Bhagavatism. these religions like worshipping of Krishna and Radha. So like that. So during whose period this emerged? During the period of Krishna, or he is also known as a. So during the period of the second ruler Krishna, the Bhagavatism or Bhagavat religion emerged. So it is in the Andhra, so Andhra region, and during the period of Hala Satavahana, this religion developed as a Vasudeva religion. Vasudeva religion, and we see in Gada Saptasati. Mostly the Gada Saptasati, it's a work with a in that book there were around 700 stories were there. So that's why this most of the work is not constructed or written by Hala. So in this book we see that stories regarding the Radha Krishna and the other belong and Vishnu. So these deities belong to the Bhagavata religion. So here the important thing that we should remember, the name Radha. Radha means wife of Krishna. So this name first time mentioned here means this name is introduced to the literature by Hala. Okay, the name Radha is a name of wife of Krishna. This name is introduced by Hala in his book Gada Saptasati. Okay, then next we see the Shaivism. Shaivism means worshippers of Shiva. So at that time, in the Shaivism, Pasupata sect was prevalent. Means the famous Pasupata sect was there or existing in the Satavahana period. Lakulisa was one of the person who started this Pasupata sect of Shaivism. So what this sect says, so according to the sect there was no sacrifice. Sacrifice was not allowed, and they followed the path of non-violence. They followed the path of non-violence, means not killing of animals. So it is a rare, means it was rare in kind. Means many other religions used to follow, offer or sacrifice animals, birds, whatever it may be. But the Lakulisa means the Pasupata sect of Shaivism followed the path of non-violence. And we see one Shiva temple emerged in Gudimalla. It is in Andhra Pradesh. Shiva temple at Gudimalla is in Andhra Pradesh. So the deities whoever worshipped in this Shaiva religion. So we see, suppose they are Pashupata, form of Shiva, Rudra, okay, Gauri, Ganapati, son, and Parvati, wife. So these are the deities who were worshipped in this Shaivism. And so we also see some of the names of the Satavahana kings which related to the Shaivism, means on the name of Shiva. So like the kings Shivaskanda is one of the ruler of Satavahana dynasty, and another one Shivasri is another ruler. So these two rulers were name of Shiva having. And we see coins with a swastik sign. So the swastik symbol, you might be knowing swastik symbol will be like this. So this swastik symbol was there. So the swastik symbol shows the significance, means the importance of this religion. Then next we deal with Jainism. So Jainism was also prevalent, and in the beginning itself we spoke that Srimukha, the founder of the empire, who followed the Jainism. Okay, and he has built many Jain temples during his period, and along with him his commander also followed Jainism. Okay, and we should know a famous personality about the Kondakundacharya, who promoted the Jain religion or Jainism in the part of Andhra Pradesh. Okay, then the next we see deal with the Buddhism. Buddhism is a prominent religion, means the Buddhism was very important next to the Vedic religion. Means since this Shatavahana rulers followed the Vedic religion, and it was given the first importance. Then after that, the next importance was given to the Buddhism. Okay, and several donations, we see most of the donations like caves, which were already we dealt with. These caves were donated for the Buddhist monks. And who were the people who followed this Buddhism? So mainly we should know that Buddhism means it is a Mahayana sect of Buddhism that was prevalent mostly. So the people who were followers were like queens, means the wives of the kings, and merchants. You basically used to follow the Jainism, because Jainism follows the non-violent path. So most of the merchants used to follow the Jainism. But coming to the period of Shatavahanas, the most of the Jains, Vaishyas or merchants were following Buddhism. And the next is the common people or commoners used to follow this religion. So we see the Mahadeva, Buddhist scholar saint, introduced the Chaitya tradition. So the Chaitya tradition means building the hall Chaityas and praying or meditating there. So the system of tradition was introduced by Mahadeva. So as I said, Mahayana Buddhism was popularized. So the Buddhism became very popular because of main personality, that is mainly because of Acharya Nagarjuna. So already we dealt with Acharya Nagarjuna, who was a contemporary of Yagnasri, and what were the works he has written, and he was there in Nagarjuna Konda and Amaravati. So all this were already we dealt in the previous. So this is the history of Shatavahana Empire. So with this we came to the end of the Shatavahana kingdom or Shatavahana Empire, Shatavahana dynasty. So this is mostly have given the most given good content regarding the Shatavahanas. I think by watching this one video, you will have an entire knowledge about the Shatavahana Empire. So it will be very helpful for the people or for the candidates, whoever is preparing for, especially stressing on the four states like Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, TSPSC&APPSC. So the most of the time the question, the basic question, the small terminologies is asked. So this is all about history. Means I have told you the system that I follow, like first origin, birthplace, religion, political history, administration, economic conditions, social condition, literature, religion. So this is the order I follow to teach this one. So with this we come to an end. So I am also going to give content regarding the history of the Andhra Pradesh as well as Telangana, which will be helpful for the candidates. So please subscribe my channel for the more details or for the regular notifications. Okay, thank you friends.